Hi, this is our HackDuke 2020 project. For our HackDuke 2020 project, we made a COVID-19 vaccine tracker using Django, PyQt, Rstudio, and Weebly. First, our project can be divided into three components. First is getting the data from user input, which we attempted to do through Django and PyQt. And then next, we wanted to store that data into a SQL database, which we didn't get to yet. And then finally, we wanted to use RStudio to help analyze and create data visualization tools. And first, here's the example of the website that we were going to make using Django, but we actually created using Weebly.
Right. So basically, this website is an example of what what patients who have taken the vaccine are going to do once they take the vaccine. Based on which vaccine they take, they report their daily symptoms, which will allow public health organizations as well as companies to see if the vaccine is working or if it's yielding like dangerous side effects.
Yeah, and here is some of our Django attempts to do the same thing. Next, we used PyQt.
We used Python and PyQt to kind of model this since we weren't able to get Django working. We have a script that will ask the user about what their name is, what their symptoms have been experiencing the days ago they got the vaccine, and then it'll store it in an already made CSV file and keep updating the CSV file as more information is added. We tried to visualize this using PyQt. That makes a nice user interface for them to answer the questions on, but we weren't able to connect these two things yet, and that's one of the things we'd work on in the future.
Finally, we used R and RStudio to visualize some data.
Yeah, so the intention for the website was to put data visualizations using R for COVID vaccine data, but since the vaccine isn't out yet, we basically used sample data sets from the VAERS website, which just contains info from vaccines that were used in the past couple of years. And we used the 2019 and 2020 data sets as our examples to show visualization demonstrations because they're the most recent years. And basically in Rstudio, we just used the tidyverse package and the ggplot function in order to show several visualizations of the data, such as showing like the vaccination counts by state and by age. Those are just some examples. And we had bar graphs and pie charts.
Okay, and as for next steps,
We're at 3 minutes.
As for next steps, we want to integrate all of our components into one final project. Thank you.
308.
Hi, this is our HackDuke 2020 project. Our HackDuke 2020 project was a COVID-19 vaccine tracker where we wanted to track the adverse effects of the vaccine. We used Django, PyQt, and RStudio to do this. First, Django was used to get user input for symptom data. And second, we wanted to use the SQL database to store that data, which we didn't get to yet. And then third, we wanted to use RStudio to analyze and create data visualization tools. Here's our Django attempt, and since this didn't work, we created a Weebly website to outline our idea of what it would look like.
Right, so this is what our website will look like. Patients who have taken the vaccine will monitor their symptoms as well as which vaccine they take. And the data that this results will show public health organizations as well as the vaccine companies themselves, if their vaccine is working or if there are dangerous side effects to these vaccines.
Next, we use PyQt to accomplish a similar goal.
Since we weren't able to get the Django thing working, we instead did this via Python, where we created a script that would ask a user just within the terminal what their input was, like their name, how many days ago they received the vaccine, and what adverse effects they were experiencing. And then this data would be put into an already existing CSV file and updated with new information. We tried to visualize this using PyQt, the GUI, but we weren't able to connect the two in the time we had, but these could be connected in the future. so the user has a nice input where they can put their data in.
Finally, we used Rstudio to visualize some data.
Yeah, so the original intent was to include some data visualizations using R onto the website, but since there's no COVID vaccine so far, we basically used the sample data sets from the VAERS website, which just includes information on all the vaccines that were used in the past couple of years, and we chose the 2019 and 2020 data sets. And then in Rstudio, we used the tidyverse package, basically in order to utilize the ggplot function and other useful functions for visualizing data. So some examples of graphs that we did were a count of all the vaccinations by state and by age group. So those are just some examples. And a future expansion for this project is that we plan on implementing all the separate components into one and like combining it onto the website, so we can like publish it by the time the COVID-19 vaccine actually rolls out.
Thank you.
Perfect timing.